Hi everyone, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Brad.
Thanks, Rick. And Riki asked me, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I said, let's go to Grand Port. So welcome to Grand Port. This is the actual spot the Dutch arrived. Right here. Somehow they set foot on a mangrove landing area just like this. And then they came ashore. Prince Mauritius.
Yes, Prince Mauritius.
Prince Mauritius of Nassau, which is, I don't know, somehow that becomes Mauritius. So out there, the Dutch boat would have been coming in and they'd have seen here land. Must have been quite exciting, but then they actually thought this was Rodrigues, so they came in here thinking they were arriving in Rodrigues, and as it turned out, it was Mauritius. Unexpected Mauritius. There's this old house here. Now you can't really make it out, we can't go in because it is closed up, but I wonder if there was a house that was originally put here as the marker, as the symbolizing area of it. Just walking, it'll be part of a montage hopefully. Whoa.
Okay, there is a signpost, but we drove straight past it. So have a look out.
Just behind me over there is where the Dutch landed. And then across the road is this tower. Went badly. There we are. There's this tower. I wonder what it is. Maybe it's like an old sugar mill tower. Let's go have a quick look.
Freshwater tower.
Okay, inside it, there's a little Christian shrine. It is really big. But I think Riki was right, it is a water tower. They would have probably filled this with water, and then men, just over there is the river. I'm going to have a quick look at it. Men would have been able to come up and then quickly get some water and do a quick prayer for a patron saint to help them on their way as their ship drove off, boated off.
Sailed.
Huh?
Sailed.
Sailed off, as their ship sailed off. This is the kind of terrain that they would have found when they first got here. Thick mangroves. Undulating ways where water has eaten away at it, and muddy swamps, and they have had to push in to try find some hard land. And I think that's why they went to Grand Port. Let's head down there and have a look. Hi everyone, and welcome to Fort Frederick. Welcome to Fort Frederick. Trying to get a thumbnail. Not quite sure how it should be, but how awesome is this actual fort? It's got a palm tree in it, and it's a ruin. I don't know, I don't think we're going to get a thumbnail out of it, but what a great little piece of video.
I'm doing a picture point.
Let's point. Yeah.
The entrance that way.
Entrance that way. There we go. Thumbnail.
Let's go.
Let's go. As you can see, the ruins are all around me here. Now, this is the actual spot where the Dutch fort was, and they built two. The wooden one first, and then the stone one. And we can just make out some of the stone from the Dutch, but it has been built on top by the French. So a lot of what we see here is part of the French fort. But if you look lower down, you can see that the stones are cut differently, are piled together differently, and that's the actual Dutch fort.
Some apt modern day graffiti.
Wow, I'm actually surprised at how big this is. If you have a look, it is huge. There are rooms and rooms and rooms here.
We'll get Brian to go walk in it just now so we can see.
Yes, I'll do the one where I get the small bit and Riki can hold the camera. But we're just walking and it's huge. This would have been a battle room. There have been two guns, one there and one over there, and they'd have stuck out. Because obviously they were protecting something that's on the other side of that wall. We can't actually see what it was that they were protecting, but there would have been two guns in there. I'll show you from the other side, and you can see what I mean by they've built it up so that the guns are protected, that if someone was firing at them, they would be protected behind this wall. Those holes are really high up there. We're going to do a fake drone shot. Hang in there. You can't start recording now.
Yeah, fake drone shots require a spanner.
making fun of me.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm
it's
sorry.
kinda
It's your
stuck in my
birthday.
pants.
You have to get his...
So, undo that one. Actually, no, that one's fine. It's this one.
You know, if I leave this in here, you won't cut it, so I'm going to take it out.
To the hole. Let's see what the cannons would have seen. So, camera up to where the hole was, and I don't know what they would have seen.
Hold it steady. Is your camera facing outwards?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Wait there.
Brian's going to go see what the cannons see.
And that's what the cannons would have been seeing.
So when the Dutch first landed here, they realized that they needed people to help them. So they brought some slaves across from Asia, and upon landing, like 50 of the 100 slaves ran off into the mountains that Brian will show you just now. And they became the original maroons of Mauritius.
As Riki was telling you, the maroons were up there on the mountains. And while the Dutch were still here, they would come on raiding parties and burn the place down and steal their, whatever they had, grains of rice or cows or anything like that. I don't know what they had. So they would steal that. Somewhere nearby this, there was a settlement, the actual Dutch settlement. And they came down, 3 men and 2 women, and they burnt it to the ground. And one of the men in that was named Bamboos, and that's why this entire mountain range is named Bamboos.
And quite a few other things in Mauritius.
Yeah, they do name quite a few things, because he was obviously a great fighter for the Maroons, for the Mauritius people.
He chased out the Dutch.
And chased out the Dutch, and then the Dutch were gone.
What I find pretty cool about the maroon story is that there's men and women involved, because they worked side by side to make a go at living here, and that's very cool.
Oh, what a great fort. There's a lot of history here. I was expecting a few cannons.
I think they're in the museum probably.
We're probably going to have to go into the museum and have a look there. If you have a look at this room, you can see there were never really any built up area on that side. It does look like it's smooth. There's a bit there and a bit here at the end. But I think it is pretty obvious what this room was used for. This was an indoor petanque room. So the French soldiers, after a hard day of battlement, would come, and if it was raining, they could still play petanque or ball. And I think it is pretty obvious what this room was used for.
Looks like something from the sea.
You can just make out across the river. That was probably made by the French when they came, and it's all about water control. Because the problem with Mauritius is you get these downpours and you get this flash flooding, and if you aren't controlling that water, you're getting swept away. So water was very important in the history of Mauritius. Just like the sea out there prevents people from coming in, and you can just put guns on an island and prevent everyone from coming in, so does the water. You've got these little streams that suddenly become raging torrents that can sweep people away. But what they've done is they've built up the edges so it prevents erosion to start with, and second of all, controls the water, lets it spread out if it's coming too fast. Water control, sea control, you get Mauritius control.
Yeah, although there's this impressive fort over there, but the actual area around it is quite beautiful with its big old trees and lush green grass. It's nice. I wonder if you could come picnic here. There are benches. Can't see your feet at all because my screen is so bright.
I've been complaining about the structure of the building and how they're just chucking stone together and then rendering over it until I saw this. Riki! Just kidding. They actually do have good craftsmanship in the stonework. So there is some good stonework here. Even though it looks like they just chucked rubble together here. It is big blocks of stone that they would have fitted together like they do with the modern structures. And then they just plastered over it. They still had to have good corners.
If you don't have good corners, you know what Brian always says.
Yes. I don't know what I always say, but yeah. If you don't have good corners, this strikes me as a little bit odd. It's almost like they've got stairs. So if you want to attack, just come and climb up the stairs.
Go for it, bruh.
If you can. Hold on, let's go. You could climb them. You could actually climb them. It's not that hard.
Probably not with a camera in your hand.
The easy way in. Okay, no, that's the hard way in. The easy way in is just go around the side where the sign says it. Even though there's no path, you're allowed to go in that way. Keep your bakery away from your fort if you don't want it to burn down. I'm sure they learned that lesson the hard way somewhere else. But in this case, you've got your fort on that side, your bakery over there, and just behind the bakery, we'll go have a look in a minute, is the actual blacksmith.
You don't want to be without your bread.
But you also don't want to have your fort burned down.
Yeah, in case your bakery catches fire. Energade, please. And look at this. Beautiful little pagoda that you can come and sit. Welcome to my cozy pagoda.
It's a scorcher up there. If you have a look here next to me, this is all Mauritian volcanic stonework, which is fantastic. But there's a little bit of evidence right behind me here. If you have a look, mind, but if you have a look, there's some red brick in here, which means it was probably used by the British in modern times, because they did some things with red bricks. Like this was probably an oven. This was probably an oven to a chimney where they used the red blocks because they were cheaper than using the black stone.
Cool. Looks like an oven as well.
It does, eh? But it's weird to have those British red stone.
Mm.
This building here, as you can see, was where the blacksmith was. So they kept the blacksmith away from the fort as well.
Between the blacksmith and the bakery is some public toilets. Check behind you, there's a cyclone bars on the windows.
Where? Those who are interested in more modern times, as you can see, I've got the shutter here, which is pretty cool. But you got the cyclone bar, which means you close the shutter and you can put the bar down, and that's going to protect you when a cyclone comes. That's the modern way. The old-fashioned way was put more stones in it. You can see there's a tiny little, what would have been a window up there, and not much else. That's how they knew this was the prison. It's a little bit dark. Hopefully Riki can get a better image. But this was a sluice where they could just spray water in there or put water in there and it would actually run out. They wouldn't give them a toilet or anything. So don't be a prisoner in the 1600s.
Whatever.
Unfortunately, we can't get any closer than this. But you can see two reasonable sized prison cells, and this would have probably been the guard's office. So the guard's office, there would have been an entryway in there, and they would have brought them in. They would have probably had like drunks in the one and serious criminals in the other. Wow. Everyone, Riki and I are going to go into the museum now and have a look around. As you can see, no cameras, and because it is the time of Corona, even though there is no Corona in Mauritius, let's get our masks on. And maybe that's the reason there is no Corona in Mauritius. See you on the outside. Not a bad museum. I must say, I would rather go to the Marburg one to actually see the history of this region, but it does have a few really, really great things in there. And two of them are models. One of this actual site as it is now, and they actually have some of the graveyards that they've been able to uncover using ground penetrating radar. The other one is the original model of the fort, and I thought that was pretty epic. So go and visit the Marburg one, then come here and have a look at the fort. It is that good. So this is a surprising find. It's a school from 1865. It was originally built. Unfortunately, it was actually destroyed by a hurricane that came through here, and they had to rebuild it. Notre Dame de Grand Pouvoir School. Okay, so this behind me is a bridge that Riki is standing on. And if you look at the construction, I really wouldn't be where she is standing.
Seriously?
What's with that tiny little pillar holding the whole thing up? Run, Rick, run for your life. No, I'm just kidding. It looks like it's just the pedestrian walkway is made out of that tiny little piece of concrete. The rest of the bridge is probably all right.
So over here we've got the Notre Dame Church and the ruins of the fort.
This is a mammoth port. This is all a port. There's a tiny little narrow opening out there, and the rest of this is a port. It makes Grand Bay look like, well, a bay. This is a port. This is huge. We told you about the maroons, and because of what they did, they put the statue, the monument to the abolition of slavery right here, because they were just in those hills and they came down, they chased off the Dutch, and they kept the French at bay. This is actually made out of railway. This is like railway. I wonder if it's like the last railway, or if it was, who knows. It's actually made out of railway line. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Just had to change my storage to my device, so now I've got another 22 minutes. This is the park at Grand Port with some nice swings and public toilets, and didn't look like a swimming beach, more like where you can get boats. And there's the monument to the abolition of slavery here. This pretty avenue with barking dogs. There's a monument commemorating the introduction of sugarcane in Mauritius. Feels spidery.
Wow, a monument to the bringing of sugar to Mauritius.
It is just ridiculously green here. So in a place that's impossibly green, the memorial commemorating the introduction of sugarcane into Mauritius.
Wow, behind me, what a great little piece of nature. And mosquitoes. I should have put the spray on. There are a few mosquitoes. But I think you can clearly see the lion's head and the lion's back. That's pretty cool. But what we came here for, what we've just walked on, is the old bridge. Let's go have a look. Look at that. It's an actual shaped bridge, which means it was forcing the water in a direction. So they were desperately trying to, when the water came down, force it in that direction to stop erosion onto what was probably valuable land over there where Riki's standing.
Helicopter's back.
Let's see if we can see the helicopter. Oh, it's a military helicopter. It's a little bit hard to see. Tempted a thumbnail with the mountain. That's the lions. No, that's tempted a thumbnail. That's the lion. It actually looks like a lion now that I look at it in silhouette. That's pretty cool. Welcome to the lion. Feed him. I'll rub his little, what's that thing called? His back leg. Scratch his belly.
Wind whistling through the trees. Oh, what is with me getting hit by branches? Wow, okay, so this is Le Ferney Eco Lodge. They have conservation and everything, and we're going to get to all of that. It's so exciting. But it's actually built on the site of the first ever sugarcane factory in Mauritius.
Well, this is the actual view from the lodge. Let me just get a little closer. This is me at the lodge with those beautiful views. No, I'm just kidding. This is a replica of it. It actually is open now, so come and have a look. You stay in the little cabins, and this is the view from your lounge. The actual view from your lounge. Oh wow, I want to be there. Wow, wow, wow. Oops, don't show the wall. Just show. How great is that? So I'm leaving my lodge now. We're going to go and explore the sugarcane. The first sugarcane farm in Mauritius. Sugarcane processing plant in Mauritius. And this is the guys. They are conserving it. Like, wow. So through the main door, as you can see, they have an arch system, which is pretty cool. But what's a little bit weird is a little bit further down, and I know this is really hard for me. They've got wood lintels. These are actual wood lintels. So where they make the main doors, they've done an arch. But on the other doors, they just have a wood lintel. But the stonework, wow, the stonework is fantastic. That is impressive. It is a huge building. I wish we had a small little rick to make go stand next to it, because this is mammoth. I'm going to go stand next to it. Riki will do some camera work from there, and you'll see just how huge it is. This is a door, but this is not a door for people. This is a door for ogres.
I can't even get the whole building in.
And look at the stonework. Beautiful double cut rocks.
Wait, let me go around.
Fantastic. And it is huge.
Okay, now I can get the whole building in.
It's huge.
It is.
And who said in the old days they didn't have entertainment? Beautiful fire pit with shade. And the palm trees, they've planted really nice palm trees around it. So you got your beautiful palm trees, then your fire pit, and of course, a corn grinder. I don't know why I said of course, because of course not a corn grinder.
Isn't it a sugarcane grinder?
Maybe. Looks like a watermelon grinder. Who knows? Mysteries still to be solved. This little building here is not the manager's office, because this one is the manager's office. Wow! Did the manager of the Sugarcane have a really nice office or what? Okay, I'm not sure if it was the manager's office after all. Or maybe he kept money in here. That probably makes sense. That's why you have these huge big iron bars. He probably kept money. Okay, so maybe the manager was also holding the funds to pay the workers. Yeah, that would make sense. They have these glass windows, and I'm sure they were original. But look up there, there's the chimney. We're going to go have a look at that. But for right now, I've just spotted a river. And you know what rivers have?
What do rivers have, Brian?
Look at that bridge. No, look at it. That is an awesome bridge. How do you get down to it? I don't think there's any way to get down to it. But look at that bridge and the lily pads. Oh, what a picturesque, perfect spot.
You can just see the size of wall that you need to build sometimes to withstand the water flow, especially the closer you get to the coast.
Better than the bridge. The sluice. We're going to go see the sluice. These are not the giant water lilies like you get at the National Botanical Gardens. These are just regular water lilies. But we've got a great bridge and we've got a sluice. Now, I'm going to show you something. That is how you tame a river. What is that? That wall is epic. They've really done something special there. This is obviously a place where you can build up water. Wow. This is the sluice I promised you. Right here, looking a little bit modern on top of this beautiful rockwork. Maybe the old one got washed away. But wow, look at that wall. Just beautiful. You can see where the original sluice was. This is the more modern one with the crank handle. And then that beautiful stonework.
Going next to the sugarcane field is like factory. It's like one of the biggest pawpaw trees I've seen in Mauritius. Brian disappeared. And I'm not walking through all of that. Clouds rolling in over the mountain.
I will pause now and let Riki catch up. Still want to go and see the tower, but then we have to make our way to the next place. Wow, what a great place.
Yeah, and they do hiking and mountain biking
and reintroducing species,
yes,
including the kestrel and a type of pigeon, the pink pigeon, I think.
Pigeon, yes.
The pink pigeon, and they are removing things that are not endemic. So they're pulling out a lot of plants that shouldn't be here and planting them with plants that should.
So that one day we can maybe introduce
some of our old friends. Who knows, maybe de-extinction will work and we'll get a dodo back. And if they do, it will happen here.
Oh, look at those dramatic black clouds. If we stick around, we might get to see those rivers fill up.
I'm sure we will. It's stormy out there.
Yeah.
But it's all around us.
All
the
around.
only place is the way home. It is the only place. Everywhere else has the black storms. I think ground port is telling us, go home.
Time to go.
Time to leave.
You've been here for hours now.
You've seen enough. The only place left is home.
Yeah.
It appears sugarcane is more important than deer. This is the monument to the introduction of deer in Mauritius. Well, everyone, surf's up. That's really funny. That's really funny because surf means deer in Mauritian. You get it?
So anyway, they were introduced by the Dutch in 1639. Seems like there's a monument to everything in Grand Port, but I suppose it makes sense because the Dutch came here and introduced so many things. And that's the first.
Put on pause. I just see something over here. Hey everyone, look, it's the monument to Brian Discovers Mauritius. They seem to put a monument up for everything in Port.
Grand Port.
In Grand Port, including me.
And you got 2 ears growing out of you. Wait, let me reposition a bit.
2 ears.
Okay, now you don't have, that's better. I'll take a photo like this and add it to Google Maps, okay?
Okay.
Video shot.
Welcome to Brian Discovers Mauritius.
Without the ears coming out his head.
And this is exactly how I want the monument in Grand Port to look. Totally love Grand Port. Thanks Rick for my birthday present, best ever. Can't wait till my next birthday because we just learned that the Dutch arrived here in 15 something or other? 1598, which is so long ago. But there's a secret Mauritius is holding and I get to find out what it is soon. There's a pyramid, an actual pyramid, and it's not the only one. There are more pyramids. We are coming to find out what happened with the pyramids. Next birthday present, I promise. Wow, wow, wow. That is so cool. I can't wait.